Hey, we've got some information on the next patch. Ballistic has confirmed a few more things we can expect with the update. The developers plan to fix the Pelican bug and make certain enemy types easier to destroy. We'll also go over the latest major order and much more to discuss. Support the channel by tapping the like button, subscribing, and turning on notifications at any point during the video. We have a status update on the 60-day plan, including what the CCO intends to review. Previously, Mr. Ballistic informed everyone on the Helldivers 2 Discord that they would be adjusting and changing how Automatons and the Chargers will function. They're also examining the rail cannon as well as the other weapons. With this in mind, we have more information what they plan to address in the final update of the 60-day plan. The Chief Creative Officer is also going to look at the specific bug where injecting a stim does not heal you for some reason. So the healing bug should be fixed. The CCO responded to a player on Reddit saying, "I saw this in the code yesterday. The sound is triggered 10 frames before the healing status effect. I will look into this for the final update of 60 days. This right here, I've experienced this bug several times myself. In fact, I've encountered a bug where instead of healing, my character was caught on fire. When I pushed a bit further and tried to heal again, it reignited me once more. However, I haven't experienced it since then, so it might have just been a bug that pops up, once in a blue moon. Anyway, I think this is going to be a great change, and it should make things a bit easier with the bots, because with the Automatons at least, I have to spam my healing button several times, and sometimes, it just doesn't trigger the healing effect. I am excited to see how it turns out and how effective it will be. Moving forward, we've got news that the Chargers will not see a decrease in spawn rate, and there's a good reason for this. Sure, they can be quite hectic right now and spawn erratically. However, I don't think it's a major issue, especially since there are various ways to deal with the Chargers. The flamethrower was my go-to, but ever since the Escalation of Freedom update, it received a nerf, as you all are aware. So with that said, Mr. Ballistic gave word that we will not see fewer of the Chargers, but more ways to take them out. The CCO responded with, "No, not less Chargers, but 10 times more ways to deal with them." Then he continued on to post another message underneath and wrote, "For instance, recoilless rifle is hard counter, one shot to the body, and bye-bye." Well, with this upcoming update, it seems like there will be new ways to destroy a Charger, and the recoilless rifle should prove to be quite effective against them. It's fair to say that the RR, aka recoilless rifle, isn't bad against the Chargers, currently, but the only issue right now is that you have to dive forward while shooting to break off a piece of armor before you can actually target the weak spot. Now, this next update sounds like we are going to be able to shoot the Chargers directly for an immediate effect on the body, possibly a headshot as well. Also, perhaps we won't need to dive forward while shooting at a piece of armor anymore. Instead, we can just break off a piece of the carapace and then target the weak spot more easily. If that is the case, I think that's perfectly fine, and I like it a lot because I won't have to dive towards the enemy and can just sit back and shoot. We also have word that the Impaler will officially receive a patch that completely resolves the skydiving bug. Basically, where the Impaler hits you from underneath, launching you high into the sky, whether you're inside a mech or standing on solid ground. The Chief Creative Officer informed a player that it should be fixed, after this player right here said that they would like to see the Impaler issue resolved. To which Ballistic responded, "Yes, it does, but it needs one more round after this, so expect it to be more interesting, but we know it has more potential." So expect less flying through the air or getting thrown across the battlefield, because when this update comes out, the Impalers will still hit you, of course, but it won't send you flying as high or as far as it used to. I believe most players would agree that the Impalers are really annoying because they can throw you far away, making you lose important items without a way to get them back, because they end up out of reach, right? Okay, that being said, not only will the Chargers and Impalers see some changes, but the Automatons chainsaw Devestators will also now be easier to kill. Yet they're going to inflict much more damage and should be far deadlier than they are now. Mr. Ballistic wrote this comment on a Reddit post that said, "Also easier to kill in next patch, but their chainsaws are more dangerous." And as you can see, they're going to be a bit weaker, but they'll pack a punch when they slice away. And now, are they incredibly difficult to take out right now? No, I don't think so. Yet some of you might feel completely different about this. What I typically use against the Automaton Devestators is either the rail cannon or my grenade pistol. Either one is fine to use, even your main weapon should be just fine. But with that being said, I don't mind this change and I'm not against it. In fact, from what it sounds like, it actually should be a lot more entertaining to fight them now. Now, another change we can expect will be for the Pelicans. If you're not up to date with what's been happening lately, let me briefly explain the bug. There's an issue with the new booster where players are experiencing a bug where the booster's explosion actually flips the entire Pelican around or launches it far away from the extraction zone, which is quite hilarious. So the developers are aware of this because the CCO wrote this to a player and said, "On behalf of Pelican manufacturing plants, I apologize for unreliable suspension system. We will order a general recall." Yeah, so they're going to look at it, they're going to fix it, and eventually we should see a patch about that specific issue. Now, will it be in the mega patch? Who knows? Or will it be in some sort of hotfix? Possibly. It could happen. But as of right now, we know that they're going to take a look at it, and we'll see exactly what happens whenever this next update arrives. Now, as you can tell, Pelican mentioned quite a few changes we can expect in the next few updates. However, he also informed players that if this patch goes in a terrible direction, he will take the blame for it. He wrote this right here and said, "I know the actual culture shift has taken some time. I am working directly with the team on this update. If this one is bad, I will personally take responsibility for it. The challenge factor may become less for a while, but we want it to be playful, fun, and challenging, but never challenging at the expense of the other two." Alrighty, so this could be a good thing, right? He's more involved this time with the team than he was previously. To me, he also seems confident that this next update will be good, considering he's willing to take responsibility for it if it goes badly. I am personally looking forward to it being a great update with many improvements, and hopefully fewer game-breaking bugs. I do expect to encounter a bug or two still, because just about everyone has experienced at least a few bugs in some sort of game, right? Whether that's Fallout or maybe Halo or something like that. And last but not least, the Chief Creative Officer is going to look at creating some sort of new in-game mechanic. If you've ever watched the first season of The Walking Dead, where they smeared zombie guts on themselves to walk through the hordes of zombies, well, that's essentially what the devs are going to try to implement. There was a player who suggested that if we're covered in bug guts, it would mask our scent from the Terminators, allowing us to remain in stealth for a bit before being noticed. The CCO basically said it's a great suggestion, that he would investigate this. And to be honest, it would be very cool to see a Walking Dead type of scenario where I could destroy a bug, have the guts explode, and then remain in stealth for just a few seconds. That would be absolutely crazy and fun to see. Also, if you're wondering when we'll see some news about the next update, the community manager Twinbeer wrote to another user on X that they have plans to reveal more news in the coming weeks. Right here he wrote, "We are in the middle of a 60-day plan at the moment. More information coming these coming weeks. Stay strong and stay tuned." Well, one can hope that we'll see some news this week, or at least a hotfix update that would revert some of the previous changes, like the flamethrower nerf and the charger's hitbox. Okay, setting that news aside, let's talk about something I think many of you might not have noticed, either because you don't use the ballistic shield, or perhaps you do and just haven't realized the bullets don't hit where the laser points. For instance, here I'm going to equip the shield with a weapon that has a laser attachment. I'll fire away and you can clearly see the bullets go somewhere else, not at the exact spot where the laser points. Maybe the developers could look into this and see what's going on with it. I think it should be looked into because it is part of realism, right? Now, is it a high priority? Probably not, but at the same time, it would be great to know that it's going to be corrected for those who love using the ballistic shield. Alrighty, let's now check out the armors currently available in the store. If you haven't yet acquired the Freedom's Flame Warbond, now's your opportunity to try out the new passive. The armors in the store are worth picking up, especially if you're looking to avoid being easily incinerated by the Hulks. The I-92 Firefighter and the I-44 Salamander are both excellent in its own way. I frequently use the I-92 because of its impressive armor rating of 100, along with the excellent speed and stamina regeneration. When compared to the I-44, although the I-44 has a slightly higher armor rating, it falls short in speed and stamina regen. My recommendation is to pick up the I-92. The movement is great because of the speed, and the armor rating is not as high as the I-44, but it's just as good. Lastly, we must talk about the Naplam Barrage, which we've unfortunately missed out on. I have a feeling this could become the new anti-tank meme because instead of the anti-tank mines, it's now the Naplam Barrage. Who knows when we'll get another chance to acquire it, but we do have a dispatch update stating, despite heroic conservation efforts and millions of automaton militants recycled into useful scrap metals, the Helldivers were unable to secure sufficient resources to rectify supply shortages. fleet-wide distribution of the Orbital Napalm Barrage will be delayed. Well, I've got to be honest, guys, this one really sucks because I really wanted to try out the Napalm Barrage ever since I saw it in the actual developer stream on Steam. Saw it and I was like, man, I totally want this. But now it turns out that we're not going to be able to pick it up because obviously we failed at picking up the right materials for it, or more so, we failed at the major order, you know, scrapping that many bots, which was like 500 million or something, right? So it was a lot, and we were up to about, I think, 400 million. We were almost there. We only needed 100 million more, and we would have had it. But obviously, the time, if we had a little bit more time on it, we probably could have done it. Now, to be fair, if the developers are like, hey, man, do you guys want to go after the Napalm Barrages, or do you want to rescue children, or whoever, right? I'm going to choose the Napalm Barrage because, come on now, who doesn't want a Napalm Barrage? That sounds way cooler than rescuing somebody, at least in my opinion, because at least you have something new to mess with. Sure, the last stratagem that was, you know, unlockable through a major order, which was the anti-tank mines, it wasn't that great, to be fair. It's terrible. It still is, by the way. And we unfortunately picked that one up, and it sucked right away. But I have a feeling that this right here is probably worth waiting on until they're able to fix the flamethrower nerfs or the flame nerf in general. Then we'll find out, you know, if it's useful or not then. So with that being said, this is your Helldivers 2 news. We're now going to check out the top 3 comments. If you guys would like to be featured in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below. The first comment right here is by Vinny. I think devs need to stop the update is coming and it's going to be great mentality. Too much optimistic will backfire. I would rather they keep a bit more low profile and respond like this since people are already looking at the devs with half eyes closed. No kidding, absolutely, that's a fair opinion. The second comment is by QP Doc NRN. Devs are like that toxic ex that says they will change but keeps doing the same shit. And last but not least, we have Deadly Apollo. Quote, devs can keep supporting their families, end quote, except for Kravchenko, however you say that. I'm not Sweden, so I failed miserably there. But anyways, he continued on to say that dude needs to be fired, blacklisted from the industry, and sent to exile. And those are your top 3 comments. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure you do subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment down below what you think. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.